It's showtime, everybody. I'm Rob Wu, and this is Pancrase, Legends of Mixed Martial Arts. And sitting alongside me, he needs no introduction, Josh Barnett.
Great to be here as always, and I just cannot wait to get looking forward to these next fights and see what other gems from the past we can dig up and show the audience.
Well, today we've managed to dig up our first fight, Osami Shibuya against Harut Terzian. Terzian making his MMA debut. What do we know about this guy?
Well, actually, I know quite a bit about Terzian. You know, it's an Armenian last name, so you're gonna have to forgive me if my pronunciation isn't so great. But Harut is a student of Gokor and Jean Lebel out of North Hollywood, California. An excellent grappler, a strong background in judo, but really fond of the leg locks, and a good-sized opponent for someone like Shibuya, although I believe they're actually fairly close in weight. But I think it could be a really interesting leg lock battle between the two of these guys. Both of them very, very well versed on the ground, and Harut still competing, although not a very active competitor.
And Osami hasn't had a great start to his career yet, just one win. He might be salivating at a chance to take on a guy who's fighting for the first time in Pancrase.
True, but Harut, I think, is going to be deceptive, and this is going to be a tough match for Shibuya to pull out.
All right, will Shibuya win his second fight, or will Harut win his Pancrase debut?
Harut Terzian versus Osami Shibuya.
Well, I think that he's got to be very hungry for a win, and I think that when it comes to striking, he's gonna have the real advantage in this match. But as I said before, Harut's a very strong grappler, and you know, Shibuya, he's part of the Pancrase dojo, and seeing guys like Funaki and Suzuki, his trainers, going out there and being some of the best in the world, and being some of the best in the world. Nice toe hold by Shibuya.
And Shibuya introduces Terzian to Pancrase action. I'm not sure if Terzian expected that, but he's got to be a little more prepared. If he keeps that up, he's going to lose this fight in a couple of minutes.
Well, as I was saying, with seeing all his peers and his coaches winning and having success, it's got to light a fire to Shibuya, because he wants to not only impress and earn their respect, but he wants to have the feeling of winning in the ring too. And tonight he looks very aggressive against Harut. Here he is working again for the toe hold, reaching back like that. Harut grabbing Shibuya's foot at the same time, keeping him from being able to set back on that leg, catching his neck, and continue to work off his back, while Shibuya here patiently looking for an opening.
And also doing a great job keeping Terzian in the center of the ring. I don't think he has even moved anywhere near the ropes.
No, he is doing a great job of keeping the match in the center of the ring in case he does happen to get an opportunity to go for submission. Of course, that can also work against you, as if Harut was able to lock in a submission against Shibuya, then he wouldn't be able to get to the ropes very easily either. As Shibuya sits back again for the toe hold, he really seems to want that toe hold, where Terzian is going for what I call a sambo leg lock or a knee slicer.
I'm not sure exactly how much damage Terzian is doing to Shibuya. Shibuya is looking very busy.
Nice steering wheel, we call that. Modification of a toe hold, going to the figure 4 toe hold.
And if that's a steering wheel, I think Shibuya is trying to make like 3 left turns in a row.
Well, I think that if it's a game of rock, paper, scissors, toe hold wins over sambo leg lock there.
And the referee breaks it. And that's because Terzian taps out. This fight is over. Shibuya picks up his second career victory against Harut Terzian now. All right, let's move on to our next match. Vernon Tiger White against Katsuomi Inagaki. Now, Josh, Vernon White's had 17 bouts under his belt. I think he's growing and improving as a fighter.
You certainly can't help but grow after 17 bouts with some of the best in the world, training with some of the best at the Lion's Den, and getting experience at being in the ring and having access to the Pancrase dojo as well. Vernon White is a very wily competitor, and like I said, he had acquired the nickname the Worm of being so difficult to really catch in a good submission. But let's see how he fares against a tough veteran like Inagaki, and let's see what kind of improvements he's made up to this point.
Worm, Tiger, doesn't exactly go together, Jeff.
No, it doesn't. But certainly when you're trying to get a hold of somebody and all you get is just this motion underneath you, and you can't quite get a hold of somebody, a worm is pretty fitting.
All right, has he improved enough to defeat Inagaki? Let's find out.
Katsuomi Inagaki versus Vernon Tiger White.
Vernon's White's record 5-12 as he starts off with a spinning leg kick. His 5-12 record not too impressive, but he has fought Inagaki twice and he's won both meetings. Seems like he has his number, Josh.
That's an interesting stat, in fact. And as you see, Vernon looks like he's put on some size since we last saw him on the show. And let's see if that added strength and experience is going to help pay off again with a third win, 3-0 over Inagaki.
And a nice left palm strike by White, trying to keep Inagaki back. Obviously, Inagaki wants to come in for a takedown at some point.
Yeah, Vernon, he wants to keep the distance. He wants to try to catch his opponent off guard.
And it looks like Inagaki has the takedown, and now he has Vernon White mounted.
Side control by Inagaki now, transitioning, forearm on the throat, applying pressure to the neck. Perhaps looking for the top wrist lock.
Vernon White still on the bottom. Inagaki still on top with the side control once again. Now working on the head of Vernon Tiger White.
The headlock position there on Inagaki, transitioning to a north-south and back to side. Double wrist lock attempt by Inagaki. Now transitioning to an armbar, a very classic judo entry, but Vernon sees it. And
a nice reverse by Vernon White. I don't think he could have done this in his first couple of fights.
No, night and day for Vernon at this point. Look at him rolling the ankles, look for the toe hold earlier, still staying on the legs, still going for that toe hold. Really well played by Vernon, and also well played by Inagaki to see the technique coming and defend it.
Both fighters with a hold of each other's ankles now as they were nearing the ropes, but now more in the center of the ring. And once again, side control for Inagaki. As we skip ahead in the fight, Inagaki again in the side control in the center of the ring, and Vernon White trying to wiggle out of it.
Yeah, Vernon is playing defense off of his back, and he's been good about not allowing Inagaki to get a good solid hold on him, but at the same time, he's using this energy on the ground defending and also taking Inagaki's weight on top of him and wearing him down.
Do you think White has enough stamina to last this entire fight?
I do. I think he's got the ability to weather this sort of fight, but if he ends up on bottom the entire time, it's going to be difficult for him to pull out the win.
And Inagaki, looked like he was going for the arm, but now White is on top.
Yeah, I think Inagaki got a little carried away too soon and jumped on his back without really doing it very securely and just happened to slip off underneath him, and this could be a mistake that cost him.
And now both fighters exchanging palm strikes. This is where White wants to fight, on his feet.
I think so, and if he can line in one of those straight kicks, front kicks, or maybe a high roundhouse kick to the head, maybe he can get the down and pull ahead in this match.
Inagaki has a leg of White, perhaps looking for the single leg takedown, and he does get it. And once again, White on the bottom does have Inagaki in the full guard.
Inagaki looking to attack the head, grab the pass all the way through to a head and arm position.
Now, when you use the term pass, what exactly does pass mean?
Pass, basically get past his legs. And pass meaning, they call it passing the guard, when you get past his feet, his knees, his legs, and getting into a position where he's no longer able to wrap you up with his legs and try to keep you under control with his legs that way.
And as this fight is over, we are awaiting the judge's decision because this bout has gone to the limit. And before the judges give us their decision, give me your decision, Josh.
And Inagaki barely manages to squeak out the win here, as most of the judges considered this a draw. I don't know if it's so much of really a victory for Inagaki over Vernon White in that, he has brought one win against the two defeats to Vernon, but not a very dominating performance on Inagaki's part. And at least one thing that can be said for certain is that Vernon is making leaps and bounds as a fighter. And
Inagaki managed to squeak by. Vernon White might not have won this, but he is improving himself each fight.
I agree.
All right, our next fight, Ryushi Nagasawa against a guy who admires Josh Barnett. His name's Guy Mesger, right after the break.